Greetings, friends. We're happy to have you joining us on Shepherding with Joy. We're looking at the 119th Psalm, which is the longest chapter in the Old Testament, or the entire Bible, I believe, and in particular about walking in ways that please the Lord. It is not within man that walketh to direct his own footsteps. So what we look at in the very first verse of Psalms 119, how blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. That word blessed is a word that means truly happy. A genuinely happy person is one who walks in the way of the Lord. Satan doesn't want us to believe that. He would have us believe that ignoring God's law, doing our own thing, and all of that is the way we ought to go. But if we listen to what God says, how blessed, how truly happy are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the law of the Lord. Let's think about the value of walking in the ways of the Lord. How do we reap benefits from that?
You know, looking back into Genesis, there, Brother Randy, the benefits, I remember reading, recently studying in, I believe, Genesis 17. There, Jehovah God was speaking to Abram at the time. And he told him, he said, walk in my ways and be ye perfect. And he said, then I will establish my covenant with you. There was a benefit,
Right.
a covenant associated with walking with God.
Mm-hmm. I'm using the New King James Version, and at the beginning of it said, "Blessed are the undefiled in the way." So if you walk in the ways of the Lord, you're undefiled. You're not a transgressor of those ways.
There's a way that is right, that is always right, because it's God's way. There are many, many other ways that we can choose, but they're not God's ways. It's the straight and narrow that Jesus speaks about in Matthew 7:13 and 14. That's the way of righteousness, the right way. Now, God lets us choose. If we choose not to go that way, He doesn't force us, but there's going to be consequences when we deviate from that. But as you all have indicated, it's that blessed life, that genuine, prosperous, happy, grand life that we live when we walk in the law of the Lord. Let's focus on that word for a moment. Law. What does that mean? Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 laws that we have to follow? But is it more generic?
I think it's more generic than that. And in another of the Psalms, chapter 84, the statement is, "No good thing will He withhold from those that walk uprightly." So if we want to have the good life, we do need to respect the entire teaching of God's Word and live our lives accordingly. There is a reward not only in the eternal realm, but in this life. It gives purpose, meaning, direction. All of those things come from studying God's Word, making personal application, and then reaping the reward.
You know, when we are conformed to God's image, His Son, Romans 8 speaks of that, says we're in His likeness. We're walking daily with Him, hand in hand with Him. Romans 12, 1 and 2 talks about be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. And then over in Amos, I was looking in Amos 3, I believe, verse 3, it says, can two walk together except they be agreed?
Right.
There's much wisdom in that one verse. You know, we're walking with God, not with the world. Mm-hmm. We're out of step if we're walking with the world, if we're following Christ.
So it's up to you. It's up to me. It all comes down to whom do we want to serve. Paul would write to the Roman Christians in Romans 6 about those that yield themselves to sin, they're serving Satan. Or those that serve Christ, they're serving righteousness, serving God. And we must choose the one whom we want to serve, the law that we want to abide by. We've talked recently about the fact, is this book optional? God gives us the right to choose to either obey or reject. But if you want to go to heaven, and if I possess and have a desire to go to heaven, I must walk in the way of the Lord. Hope to see you next time.